Everyone is talking about generational wealth, but almost nobody is defining it the way Scripture does. The world's version disqualifies most people before they start. The biblical version puts it within reach of anyone willing to make one decision. And there's a warning inside Ecclesiastes that redefines what generational wealth is actually for, and most believers have never connected it to their finances. Stay with me. Here's how culture defines generational wealth: rich parents, trust funds, inherited real estate, old money, family dynasties. By that definition, most people are disqualified before they start. If your parents didn't build it, you can't have it. But that is not the biblical model. Scripture doesn't talk about generational wealth as something inherited from the past. It talks about it as something built for the future. That distinction changes everything. Because the moment you understand that you are the builder, not the beneficiary, every financial decision looks completely different. Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Notice the active verb, leaves, not inherits, not receives, leaves. You are building something forward, not waiting for something to arrive. Now look at what the inheritance actually is in Scripture. Proverbs 19:14 says houses and wealth are inherited from parents. In biblical culture, inheritance included land, property, livestock, and business relationships, not just money. Generational wealth in Scripture is assets that produce income, not just cash that gets spent. A house that can be rented, land that can be farmed, a business that employs the family. It doesn't require millions, it requires intentionality. Now, here's the Ecclesiastes warning I mentioned at the start and why it matters more than the asset strategy itself. Ecclesiastes 5:13-1 warns against hoarding wealth to the harm of its owner. Generational wealth is not stockpiling, it's deploying assets wisely across generations. The practical translation? Generational wealth is any asset that generates income or opportunity for the generation after you. Here's the 4-layer starter framework. Layer 1, eliminate debt. You cannot pass on what you don't own. If the bank owns your house, the bank owns the inheritance. Layer 2, get life insurance, term life on every income earner. If you die before the asset is built, the policy completes it. Layer 3, open an investment account. $200 a month for 25 years at 8% return becomes $190,000. Layer 4, acquire one income asset, a rental property, a business, one asset that produces income or appreciates over time. One asset changes the trajectory of your entire family tree. At the start, I mentioned a warning in Ecclesiastes most believers have never connected to their finances: hoarding wealth to the harm of its owner. Here's what that means practically. If you accumulate wealth and never deploy it forward across generations, Scripture says that wealth becomes a burden, not a blessing. Generational wealth isn't a savings account you protect. It's a forward mechanism you activate. The asset must work for the next generation, not just sit. Generational wealth is not what your parents gave you. It is what you decide to give your grandchildren. You are the first chapter of a story that outlives you. Write it with intention. Subscribe to Covenant Wealth. Next week, the tithe lie nobody in church will tell you, and what the Bible actually says about the 10% rule. See you then.